So I wanted to do a quick summary, quick analysis of the Benchmade 580 Barrage knife. I have this one here, pretty much brand new, got over the weekend. This here is black finish blade. It has the serrations, obviously. You can see that I've put it to use already. I don't mind too much about it locally here. There's a good shop that I like to go to. They typically always have everything in stock, typically new, more early than what you can get off the internet. So like you've heard me in other video, I wasn't planning to buy this knife, but once I played with it and held it, and God, I got to get this one suckered in again. I don't even typically like the serrations, but in this one, I thought it was pretty sweet. It looked pretty practical. The blade was long enough that I felt that I'll go for it. So make sure I'm in focus here. It's a pretty light knife. It's this Volex plastic, no jumping at all, just a slick back part of the handle here. Closed design, this little, I guess, serrations or grooves in the plastic. Black clip, pretty high, pretty well designed, styled design handle. A lot of the design doesn't have a whole lot of actual usage to it. I guess these indentations are for your small fingers back here, and you don't really notice any difference with that at all. It is the Volex plastic. It does feel a hair hollow, not quite as hollow as the 585 Mini Barrage. This is, I'm sure, high quality. It's just, again, perception of low quality by this plastic here. It has a safety on the back, safety for closing and opening. No jimping or grooves underneath the handle here. Blade is, when you actually hold this thing, it's freaking big. I know it's only like, I think, barely 3.5 inches, but this knife just feels bigger than what I thought it was going to be. The assisted opening is just amazing. You can hear that big thud. It locks up tight. So what am I comparing that to, really? I mean, it's basically the SOG knives is what I might compare it to. Some of the Kershaw, I have only some of the smaller Kershaw smaller ones, like the Leak, for example. And this thing just flicks out so fast and hard. It's not moving at all. I guess it's a spear point blade here. The SOGs, I mean, they do flick out, but relative to this, just how firm it locks up, it's just different. You gotta play with two of them. So that's the quick summary. Putting this higher on my scale, I think I gave the Mini Barrage an 8. I would probably say, yeah, this is probably an 8 as well, if not a 9. The Volex, at least in this version, and I'm really big on using the word perception, I'm perceiving it to be maybe a little bit better manufactured than the 585, but you know, I think it just has to do with it being a bigger handle. So pretty cool. I like it. It's pretty sharp. It's not razor sharp. It does its job. I certainly have more sharp knives, but it's a pretty good utility knife. I wouldn't call this necessarily an EDC knife. It's big. It's a little tactical looking. Since the blackness, the blade's relatively aggressive, but you know, it's a good, I guess, weekend warrior around the house, destroying some boxes, tearing up stuff if needed, but not bad. And I guess real quickly, probably won't work on the focusing here. It is skeletonized in there, you probably can't see that at all. But surprise on this knife, it is pretty freaking good. So one thing I do want to go over again on this knife is that since you have this assisted opening that locks up so tightly, fast, strong, the blade's not budging, it's difficult to close one-handed. You've seen that maybe in my other video, but I gave this knife a high rating, but I want to mention it, that feature, you know, closing it with one hand. You know, I don't necessarily want to knock the knife for not being able to close it one hand. It's not necessarily designed to do that. You can see I am doing that here, but it's just ready to fly out on my hand. It's real hard to do. The pressure you need to put on the blade to force it down is high. It's a little dangerous. My fingers are exposed. You know, I've dropped the knife several times. So if that's a feature that you value, being able to close it fast and quickly with one hand, maybe think twice about the Benchmade assisted opening knives before you buy them. So I'm not going to knock my rating that much for at all, really, for the abilities around the one-handed closing. But yeah, man, that's so dangerous. See, the other thing is that the handle is this, there's no jimping at all, really. This back end is so slick that when you're having to put that much pressure on, there's just no grip either. I think my hands are sliding. So again, you know, these knives aren't necessarily designed to do that, be able to do that quickly. But it's just something to think about. Thanks.